Everybody, this is Russ calling from Bear Creek Landscaping. I'm on a Zoom with a couple people here from Bear Creek Landscaping and Construction, and I'm going to do some moderation again today. Deb Vining is going to be your presenter this morning, and this is actually going to be really quick. Basically, an overview of the scheduler, how to look at the emulator, and then also just to maybe review the case and answer a few questions for anybody that may show up on this thing when they get there. So with that being said, Deb, let me enable you to share your screen really quick. Okay, you should be able to share your screen now.
Good morning, all. Okay.
Good morning.
What we are seeing is our scheduler, which we get to from the home page. We go to next service, scheduler, run. I have already populated it, and I've done it for 7 days this time, and so it took a little bit longer to populate. The reason I have it on 7 days is because if you will notice, we're at the beginning of the month for September. Here's the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. If I were to include the 4th, this here, now you can see for like Jeff, he's got a whole bunch of tasks assigned to him. Mike Mont, same thing, as well as Monty Russell down here. These are all their site visits that populate every month on the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. Now, the reason they're divided up between the 4th, 5th, the 4th through the 8th is because it's Monday through Friday. Now, it doesn't, obviously, the 5th is on a Sunday, but it goes for if your properties are being done right now on a Tuesday, then you can go to the 5th, and your property, it's easier to find that way a little bit. The timing is also set up pretty close to what the guys in the crew are doing right now. It's not 100% with it, but makes it easier to be able to transfer the ones to a different day for you guys. But to do an emulator, because we're on the 4th or the 5th, if we do the emulator from here, we're not going to see anything. So I'm going to change my day so it kind of goes with what we're seeing. So I'm going to move it to 1 day so it populates quicker. And then I'm going to go to today. So I'm going to take a look at, let's take a look at Froylan. To do that, to go to the emulator, you are going to right click on the employee that you want to see. Now, there are some employees that are set up here that do not have this little button, like Dan Cromwell. He does not have a button yet. Froylan has this little button. And if you notice, it looks like a phone. So we're going to click on that phone, and it opens up another page. This is what the guys have on their screen. And it brings it up as to where their route is as well, broken up in days. So you know where they're headed to. On their phones and your phones, it is set up for yesterday, today, and tomorrow. I wanted you guys to have access to be able to see for stuff from yesterday and today, and also going forward, like if we have something that we have to move up or something. But I also didn't want it to be too much information for a whole month. So here we're working on today. He's at glass. So we can go through and click on here and see that he started at 7:26. We can look at site details. So I have no information in here for Stephanie Glass. But if you know that he's in the field and you're having trouble reaching him, and she called you to say something, you can put a quick note in here and shoot him a message saying, look at your site details or something. When you guys are doing your site visits, you guys can put notes in here and update the notes about here. Remember, these are about the site. These are not what they're doing for the day. These are sites. Now, I put notes in here, and it did a little check mark. And you can see if Freeland makes a comment, it will know if he actually read his site details. A little back button takes us back. So when they start in the morning, they're going to hit the little start button. When they're finished, they're going to go to sign off. Here's where they put what they did, how much debris they took, how much fertilizer they put down, anything specific that maybe you guys need to be aware of. Then they're going to sign it. And once that happens, the little green check mark comes up. Hit the little green check mark, the little cloud comes up. And once that's done, then you go back. Now, if the site is, if he's finished off the sign off, then this will change green. This cannot be clicked until the sign off is done. He has to put what he did on site and sign it. Now, also, if you notice down here on the sign off, you have customer name and customer signature. For those customers that like to see what we're doing, acknowledge,
micromanage.
We have for the customers to be able to sign as well. These are not required. It's just there for those customers that we help out. Now, under files here, the guys can upload pictures and tie it in just like they did in the other program. It's not required. It just gives them an option to upload a picture. They actually can do it. They should be able to actually take a picture from their camera and upload the file. As I do not have a camera on here, it doesn't let me click the button. So it's a little different, but I can upload a picture from here as well. Time, we're not dealing with right now. That will be a future talk about. History, what we've done there previously in the past. It gives us information of what we've done. So we could go to, let's say, Hickman. We have been out there all week. So, Jose Luis.
So they hurry up and finish.
Huh?
So they better hurry up and finish.
So we're in Hickman history, and it shows what we did when we were out there. We can click on it, and look, we had to get expenses. They uploaded some files. They did the fence electrical on this day. Fence and irrigation, patio. Just gives you an idea of what the history's like. It also says who completed it, if any inventory was done, and any files were uploaded. Just simple stuff, but it can come in handy for irrigation, reno, what we put. The contact information, email, phone, mobile, it's just the information for the customer. So just like in the other program, we have access to it. Site details, we talked about that driveway not accessible. Flags, it lets you know specifically fertilizer, no chemicals. Now, here's one thing that we haven't really talked about, skip service. when the guys are in the field and we're not able to do it because there's no parking, they're redoing construction, we can go through and put why we skipped the service. And so all they have to do is click the little button, no parking, road construction. So when the customer comes back and says, why didn't you do our property? Well, we were not able to access it because I had construction going on. And we're not having to find out from the guys, hey, why did you skip the service? It's already there. And anybody can access it. The blue up top here is the address. Here is what we have scheduled for the time. So this job is supposed to take 8 hours. And that's the emulator.
So really quick, go back to the emulator real fast, if you would. So one of the only places I'm going to interject that Mike and I have talked about for literally a couple of years now. Go ahead and open up one of those pages, maybe this one here, just so we don't add or take away. Okay, so guys, what you need to know is in the files, go ahead and open up files if you would. When we're doing a job for the first time, in the files, it's gonna have, oh, you know what, Deb, since you're in control, go ahead and go back to one that's open. I forgot when this is closed. This closes it up. Okay, so when they go to upload, this is where they should take a couple of pictures of the property, guys. On the very first one, have them take 5 minutes, walk the property, or you do it on your first site visit, one of the two. But if we can document and make some notes of things that are being done, right? So we have physical, actual documentation of the property, and then anything that's in here. Grass in the back is dead. The rhododendron on the left side of the garage is dead. The wisteria on the back by the back bedroom is dead. Whatever the case might be, it's all dead. I don't know. But whatever the details are, this is where these things come into play, because we've had clients say, my property's never looked as bad as it has when we started. And we know it's not true. Some cases, perhaps, but this gives us physical and literal evidence of things, of the conditions of the property when we're there. Additionally, for construction, Mike and I haven't talked about this at length, but if we're going to do a new construction site or anything that has a lot to do with grading, some before and after pictures would be fantastic. One, it shows before and after, right? That's just a clear no-brainer to me. We can use them on the website. We can add them to our portfolio, so on and so forth. And the record is infinite. We have access to it the whole time. The other side is for insurance reasons. If there's ever an accident, they can take a picture when they're on the job. Hey, I was on this job. I hit the bumper. I'm kind of using my own scenario here. I hit the bumper of the truck with the dingo and I dented it. Here's the picture of it. And then it's tied to a job, a date and time. So there's some things that could be used for as well. On the expenses right here, we haven't got into this just yet. Yeah.
Like even like a broken window or something like that.
Absolutely.
Something that we should.
Absolutely. Because what it does is if you do a broken window, right, it tells us who the customer is, what property it was at already. And then when it's all done, it's going to give us the date and time that was broken. So if a client says, hey, my security system shows my window is broken at 11 o'clock. Well, if the clock in was 7:35 and the clock out time was 9:35, we didn't break the window.
Perfect.
But if we did break the window and they said, hey, you broke my window 2 weeks ago or whatever, we could say, no, I'm sorry, we did break your window, but it was done on this date. Okay. So and what it does is it takes the wind out of people's sails and it protects the company. In essence, it protects Mike and everybody else. Okay. What I want to talk about is the expenses down here, though. This expense report is what we've been playing with, and it's a little detailed. We just got verification today, at least we believe. We have a little bit more testing to do on it. But what's also going to happen is Mike still wants the receipts turned into him so he can see them. But eventually what will happen is these guys are going to take the pictures and all the expenses, AKA your PMs, are going to be tied to the job automatically. So you will be able to look up the expenses without ever having to come to the office. And so that's done here. I mean, it can add up receipts. It'll give you a total. It'll tell you which ones are open or whatever it was for. And so we're still working our way through this, and we are doing baby steps. So really, I can't reiterate enough that the places that we have the guys focusing on right now is clocking in and out, utilizing the site details, and then also the completion. Okay. We want them to do this because a lot of them were intimidated. Alejandro was intimidated, and now he's doing great. And now I think Deb said that he's starting to inquire about more. Luis and Jorge, the same thing. The only people this isn't going to have a whole lot to do unless you meet them somewhere would be like if you met Oscar at a site and you had to go buy something that he could put on. Maybe there's plant fertilizer or preen or something, and you ran to Home Depot while he was on site and you got a receipt. You could take his phone and say, hey, record this in, so that job gets costed for it unless you put it to cost of goods. So there's going to be some advantages, and I'm talking a little bit, probably 2 to 3 weeks ahead of time. I just want to prepare people that is coming.
Okay.
Deb, you have anything else you want to add?
Yes, the expenses are tied to their accounts. So if Jeff, you happen to go through and get something for one of your properties, then you need to put it under your site visit rather than the maintenance, because they do not have credit cards, and so it would show up wrong. So I need it to show it up as a site visit.
Say I was with Juan on a project, and I'm like, hey, we need to clear out this whole area, but leave the roses, and he accidentally pulled the roses, then, or didn't understand, pulled the roses, and I got to go get 2 roses to replace them. I take a picture of that, and it goes to that maintenance client.
Yeah.
And warranty, how do I make sure it's warranty and not billed?
So you would put it under as a material cost, and because it's to a maintenance customer and it's to a site visit, that would be warranty.
Okay.
It's only going to be billable if you tell us it's billable. So you would have to come back and say, hey, I was at Patty Renstrom's and I replaced a sprinkler head and replanted this plant, and I need to bill her for that. Then you just go back in, but you'll be able to see what you had on there. So you can go, okay, I have this Home Depot receipt and I have this one from Horizon. It's a total of $28. I'm going to charge her $58 plus $90. This is going to be my invoice, and you send it to her. But you'll be able to tie it and you'll have a reference. That's the point. The best part is if you're 6, 8, 10 months down the road and you're like, crap, what did I charge her for that sprinkler head? Because I want to be consistent. You can easily go back and look. You can also compare prices. Hey, I bought that sprinkler head for $12 and now it's 15. Well, this sucks. I need to raise my price or whatever. So there's some of those instances too. Basically, Jeff, it just gives you more ammunition, more arrows in your quiver, more tools in the toolbox, and whatever stupid analogy I can come up with.
So, Jeff, this is what the guys see on expenses: Bear Creek property, equipment rental, fuel cost, material cost, tool purchase, insure. It's not broken down in division. It's just very simple. Where does it go? The amount. Description. So for your site visit, warranty. Choose file. This is where they take a picture of the receipt. If there's another one, they do plus. If this one's not supposed to be here, then minus. Then it goes back. I'm missing something on one of them, so it's going to do that. I don't have an amount, so I have to go back into here and put my amounts in.
So I guess another question is, so is this like when we do our, like we do now, the postmortems for the annual deal at the end of the year for the properties, or, in my case with the commercials that are I got to start figuring out my pricings for, the commercials here starting, in October, and start contacting people and let them know that, that they're going to increase or whatever. Like if we had something like we have a customer that's got a bunch of warranty, work that always seems to be complaining and yada, yada. Does this warranty expense, will that go to that? So we know like, hey,
yes,
this person really likes their handheld. They're always trying to get one over. So we need to increase the contract if we're going to continue with this customer.
It will show up, but it won't show up as billable. If it goes billable, then it kind of formulates its own invoice, which has been a nightmare on our side. But what'll happen, Jeff, is you'll be able to see the total amount that a customer spent in maintenance. And because that job fell under maintenance, you'll be able to go, okay, the quoted amount for last year was $15,000, and we end up spending, total with labor and everything was X amount. Then you can raise it to that amount. That's the part where Mike is really going to like it. Additionally, one of the things, since you brought that up, and I see Mike's on here, one of the things you're going to really like about this program is that when we can go 3% across the board on changes as well. So there's a lot of tools that we're still discovering. There's so much power to this thing. The nice thing is it's all in one platform. So anyways, to answer your question, yes, you'll be able to use that to help determine your new contract amount.
Perfect. I like it.
All right. Well, listen, we're going to conclude the meeting because I said it would take about a half hour. Thanks for coming on. I got blown up on my phone that a lot of people are out pulling plants and trying to get jobs underway, which is a priority. And this video is a small segmented one. The one on Tuesday will be a little bit more in depth. But until then, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take over Deb's screen so she doesn't keep going back and forth on the video. And Jeff, you can log off if you want to. And for the video, for those that are going to be watching this video, I just want to tell you that this is not all written policy in stone. This is still kind of discovery. It's a new program that we've been using now for just a short time. And what's going to happen is the processes and procedures are going to be refined and then eventually written into a policy. And then that way it'll be easier for everybody to use. And then we can move forward from there. But in the meantime, at least this video provides us a tool and education so you can navigate these programs as necessary. Thanks again for tuning in. But I sound like I'm on a broadcast radio. This is the Ed Sullivan Show. Anyways, long story short, thanks a lot for being here, guys, and we will talk to you soon.
All right.